Hello, traders. Welcome to Simpler Trading. My name's Melissa, and I'm a trader here in the Trendy Trading Room and the SPX Room. We are so glad that you were able to join us today. I am super excited to talk about how I use stop losses and trailing stops and different ways to protect my capital initially in a trade. And then, of course, as I am taking profits as the trade is going in my favor, some things that I use to protect that capital, lock in some profits, and then let the trade run. I don't know about you, but I have struggled in the past with this whole letting runners run, and I needed to find a way both protecting my capital as well as not giving back too much profit, right? Uh, I'm having some difficulty with the stream, it looks like. Can you type in the chat if you can hear me, if I'm still live? I can't tell on my end. If anyone's listening and can type in the chat, I would appreciate it. Let me see. All right. It looks like we're good to go. So it must have just been a quick blip. Hey, John. Good to see you. All right. So, anyway, thanks, Joshua. Appreciate it. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate all of you. So, has anyone else struggled with this? Right? Just let me know in the chat. Is it me or is it a common thing? I believe it is a common thing across the board for traders, and it's a frustrating concept. Honestly, when you're in a winning trade, there's nothing worse than taking profits and getting out because you're super excited, and then 2 or 3 days later, you look and the thing is just continued to run, and, oh my gosh, it's like, "Golly, why didn't I, find a way to be able to stay in that trade and not exit too early?" So, I'm gonna get started here with the presentation. At the end, I will stick around and answer any questions that you might have. So if you have a question as I'm going through the slides, just put it in the chat, and then I will be happy to answer those questions as we, wrap up the slides, alright? So, here we go. Stop using a fixed stop loss. It's one of the biggest reasons traders get kicked out of perfectly good trades. How many times has this happened to you? You find a great setup, you place your trade, and you set a responsible fixed stop loss, just like all the books tell you to. You watch the market chop around, it comes down, 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 taps you out to the exact penny, and then almost instantly it reverses and skyrockets straight to your original price target. It's one of the most frustrating experiences in trading. Am I right? I believe I am. And let me just point out that I am a trader who believes wholeheartedly in having an allocation amount, an amount of money that you are willing to risk on each trade. I'm not saying that I am a trader that lets all my trades go to 0 because I'm definitely not. But I know that anytime I go to bed at night and I'm carrying a position over, there is the possibility that it can go to 0. Am I right? Anything can happen in the market. So, first and foremost, this is very important. The amount of money that you go to bed at night that is open trade in the market, it needs to be an amount that, number 1, your account total capital balance can handle if it were to all go to 0. So, financially, your account needs to be able to handle it, but most importantly, emotionally, it needs to be an amount that you can bounce back the next day and still trade your setups. So, it needs to be an amount that you're financially comfortable with and emotionally comfortable with. Alright? Alright. It makes you feel like the market is personally out to get you, but the truth is it's not you, and it's not a conspiracy. It's likely your one-size-fits-all stop-loss strategy. In this video, I'm going to show you a smarter way to set your stop, a method that adapts to what the market is actually doing, giving you trades, giving your trades the room they need to breathe while still protecting your capital and, most importantly, locking in your profits as they grow. So, what's really wrong with a fixed stop loss? On the surface, it seems logical. You risk a specific amount, say 2% of your account, and you know your maximum loss up front. It's disciplined, right? Well, yes and no. The discipline is good, but the method can be flawed. The core problem with a fixed stop loss, whether it's a percentage or a set number of points, is that it's completely arbitrary. It has no relationship to the current market environment, and it ignores the single most important factor in price movement, which is volatility. A 2% stop might be perfectly fine for a stable, slow moving stock like, say, Coca-Cola or Walmart. But that same 2% stop on a volatile cryptocurrency could get you knocked out by normal everyday price fluctuations. You're essentially applying one rigid rule to a dynamic, ever changing environment. It's like using a ruler to measure the temperature. It's the wrong tool for the job. You see, markets breathe, they expand and they contract. In high volatility periods, the market's breaths are deeper and pullbacks are sharper. Think about the environment we're in right now. In low volatility periods, price action is much calmer. Your stop loss needs to respect this. A fixed stop doesn't. It assumes every trading day is the same, which we know is simply not true. This is why you get stopped out on those frustrating scam wicks. It's often not the market hunting your stop. It's just the market taking a normal, healthy breath in a volatile environment. And your arbitrary, tight stop loss was simply in the way. You were right on the direction, but your risk management strategy failed you by not giving the trade enough room to work. Look at this crazy wick right here, right on this chart. This people could say, "Hey, market was hunting my stop." That isn't what was happening. The market was just breathing, and then the trade went right up, right? It's just taking a breath. So, if a fixed static stop is the problem, what's the solution? The answer is to move from a static approach to a dynamic one. You need a stop loss that thinks, that adapts, and that moves with the market. This is the concept behind the trailing stop loss. The trailing stop loss is an order that adjusts as the price moves in your favor. I want you to think of it like a safety net that follows you up a ladder. For a long position, as the price moves up, your stop loss moves up with it, maintaining a certain distance that you define. But here's the critical part. If the price starts to fall, the stop loss stays put. It doesn't move down. It only moves up to lock in profits. This simple mechanism achieves two incredibly powerful things. First, it gives your trade room to breathe because it understands that pullbacks are part of any trend. Second, it helps protect your profits. As your trade becomes more successful, your risk can decrease. Your stop can move from below your entry to your entry price, or what we often refer to as break even, and then into profit. This means a winning trade can no longer turn into a loser. This isn't just a different type of order, it's a fundamental shift in how you manage trades. You stop trying to predict where the top is, and instead, you simply follow the trend until the market itself tells you that the trend is over. You let your winners run, but you do it with a safety net that is constantly rising beneath you. Okay, I know this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually put this into practice? There are a few common ways to set a trailing stop, from simple to more advanced. Let's cover the three most effective methods that I have found. The first being the percentage based trail. This is the simplest form of a trailing stop. Most trading platforms allows you to set a stop that trails the market price by a fixed percentage. For example, you could buy a stock and set a 10% trailing stop, as you see on the example from my TOS platform. If you buy at $100, your initial stop is at 90, 10% of 100. If the stock climbs to 120, your new stop automatically moves up to 108, which is 10% below 120. If the price then drops to 108, your position is sold like a fixed stop. The percentage the advantage to this is simplicity. The disadvantage is that, like a fixed stop, the percentage itself can still be somewhat arbitrary. A 10% trail might be too tight for one type of asset, such as something that moves very, very volatilely, like Bitcoin. Or it could be too wide for another more stable type of stock, like the aforementioned Coca-Cola. It's better than a fixed stop, but we can get even smarter. Let's talk about method number 2. This is a volatility-based trail. It's using ATR. This is where things get really intelligent. Instead of picking an arbitrary percentage, we can use the market's own volatility to define our stop distance. The best tool for this is the average true range, or the ATR indicator. There's even ATR trailing stops that you can put on your charts that will show you in real time as the our trail stop is moving. Don't let the name intimidate you. The ATR simply measures the average noise or price range of an asset over a specific period. A high ATR means that the asset is volatile with large price swings. A low ATR means it's quiet and stable. Here's the step-by-step process. You can add the average true range indicate your chart. I like to use a 14 period setting. That's the standard starting point. Then you look at the current value of the ATR. Let's look at an example of Apple, for instance. Let's say that the ATR value on the daily chart is $5.44 on Apple. This means that on average, Apple has been moving $5.44 a day over the last 14 days. Now, I want you to choose a multiplier. This is the secret sauce. A common multiplier is 2 or 3. A lower multiplier gives you a tighter stop, while a higher multiplier gives the trade more room to breathe. I'm going to, in this example, use a multiplier of 2. So to calculate the ATR stop distance, we're going to take the ATR value times 2. So in our example, that's $5.44 times 2, which equals $10.88. You want to set your stop loss $10.88 away from your entry price. So for a long trade, you would place it $10.88 below, and for a short trade, if you're buying puts or going short, then you would want it $10.88 above. Now here's the key. As the price moves in your favor and hits your targets, you're going to trail your stop up, always keeping it 2 times the current ATR value from the price. This is powerful because now your stop loss adapts, right? And that's what we wanna do. In volatile markets, the ATR will increase, automatically telling you to use a wider stop. In quiet markets, the ATR will decrease, allowing you to tighten your stop and protect profits more aggressively. You're letting the market, not a random guess, dictate your risk. Let's talk about method number 3. This is a market structure trail. It's actually my favorite way to trail my stop. For traders who are comfortable reading charts, this is perhaps the most logical method. Instead of using an indicator, you use the price action itself. In an uptrend, the market makes a series of higher highs and higher lows, right? The definition of an uptrend. The market structure method simply involves placing your stop loss just below the most recent swing low in an uptrend. When the price moves up and forms a new higher swing low, you then move your stop up just below that new low. You're essentially saying, I will stay in this long trade as long as the market continues to make higher lows. The moment it fails to do so and breaks the previous low, the uptrend structure is violated, and that's your signal to exit. This method perfectly aligns your trade with the definition of a trend, and that's why it's my favorite method to use. So if you look at the example here, on entry, my original stop would have been way down here. Once price moves up to my first target, right? And I collect my profits, I automatically move my stop loss up to the entry point. That means I've collected some profits and I'm not going to allow any of the unrealized profits go against my realized gain. Then, after it has hit that first target and hits my second target, I move my stop loss just below the most recent swing low. I like to create an alert there. I use alerts all the time. If an alert goes off on a trade that I'm currently in, I know to go and look at the chart, look at, are we making now a lower low rather than higher lows, and if we are, I simply stop out of the rest of the contracts collecting more profits. Same thing, after the next target is hit, I wait for a swing low, I move my stop loss alert up to just just under that most recent swing low, and I just let the trade keep going until I get the alert, and then I know, "All right, profits are done." Now, sometimes it's a head fake or whatever you wanna call it, and it's not I have gotten out and the market then continues on up. That's okay. We're not gonna hit every one perfect every single time. The important thing is to have a process that you can repeat over and over again, right? To just make some money, get that P&L going from lower left to upper right. All right, let's cover some common mistakes to avoid now. While a trailing stop is a powerful tool, it is not foolproof. Here are the three most common mistakes traders make when using them. First is setting the trail too tight. New traders get excited about locking in profit and set a very narrow trail. The result is that they get stopped out by normal market noise, defeating the purpose of giving a trade room to breathe. If you're using an ATR method, for instance, using a multiplier that's below 1.5 or 2, especially in volatile markets, that's just too tight of a trailing stop. All right, another common mistake is on the other end of the spectrum. It's setting a trail too wide. Your stop is too far away. It's not effectively managing risk. For instance, a 20% trailing stop might mean that you get back a huge chunk of your profits before you exit. The goal is to find that sweet spot between giving the trade room and, of course, protecting your bottom line. And the third and most important is using it in the wrong market conditions. Listen up at this scenario. This point is very important. Trailing stops are designed for trending markets. So, if a market is stuck in a choppy sideways range, a trailing stop can get you whipsawed in and out for small losses as the price bounces between support and resistance. In these range bound markets, a well placed fixed stop or trading with smaller allocation amount that you're just willing to let go to zero is the better way to trade it, and I've found it is more effective. So, make sure you're in an uptrend or a downtrend when using one of these methods for your trailing stop, okay? Alright, let's bring it all together. The arbitrary fixed stop loss can be one of the biggest reasons traders get kicked out of a perfectly good trade. It can be a rigid tool in a fluid environment. By switching to a dynamic, adaptive approach like a trailing stop, you can align your risk management with the market's actual behavior. You protect your capital, give your trades the necessary breathing room to mature, and help lock in profits as your winners run. Start with one of the three methods and use it for 30 days. Test it, see how it feels, and watch how it might keep you in those trades that your old fixed stop would have kicked you out of. If you struggle with the first method, that's okay. You choose a different method. Move to one of the other two, then trade that for 30 days. The important thing is that every trader is different, and what works best for me, for instance, like the market structure trail, might not work best for you. So it's important to test out the different uh, strategies, trail stop strategies, and find the one that works the best for you. All right? Awesome. All right, I promised you I would answer some questions here at the end, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I can stop sharing the screen real quick, And if anyone has any questions, I'm gonna just look up in the chat. John says he struggles with letting his winners run. I hear you. It that look, John, number 1, don't beat yourself up because, uh, you're you're not, alone in that. All of us do, I believe. Um, Bustle, AU Bustle. I do well with trailing stops on simple calls and puts, but on spreads, I don't know how to use a trailing. W Okay, can I tell you, use the alerts, right? So, if you use TOS, you can whether you're in a, spread or straight up calls and puts, the alert works perfectly. So, you place an alert at where whatever method you choose, whether you choose the ATR trail stop, indicator, whether you choose the, market structure, just set an alert. Even if you're in a spread trade, when that alert goes off, it's telling you that price action is king, right? Price action has hit your trail stop, okay? That would be my suggestion. Yeah. Yep, I hear you there. It, happens often. Market structure, trail stop, in active trader. I don't really trade with active trader, okay? So I will show you an example on Bank of America, actually, okay? This is a trade that, in the trendy room I'm in, alright? So let me show you an example of the market structure on BAC, alright? So this was first target, and we trimmed from it, right? Then my stop went to entry. So I just create an alert here, right? You gotta remember, I don't have fixed stops. I use an alert when the alert goes off, and you can let me show you how you can put a note to yourself. Can you let me share my screen real quick. That would help, wouldn't it? All right. All bustle. Can you see my screen now? We good? Hopefully. All right. So here's the trade on BAC. This was the buy zone. So initially, my risk was $1.61 in this buy zone, right? We hit that first target. All right. At that point, that's when, using market structure, my first trail stop goes to break even because I collected some profits, and now I don't wanna give them back. So I right click on my screen, I go down to create alert. Yes, it works for options as well, Todd. Absolutely. And I want to be alerted if BAC price is at or below my entry. So this is I would put an alert and a note up here that says stop, okay? All right. At or below. Alright, so now I have an alert here. I don't have to sit and watch this trade. That's the worst thing you can do for your emotional well-being is sitting and watching a trade because it'll cause or has caused me in the past to take trades off unnecessarily because I get scared out by wicks like this. Alright? So if that alert goes off, then I go to the screen. Alright? Then once I have hit second target, right? There's second target trimmed. Now I wanna use market structure. So I'm gonna look here And notice that we just consolidated here, but today is a nice move to the upside. So I'm gonna use the swing low right here, and just gonna drag my alert up. That is trailing my stop up, all right, using market structure. Now, if we hit the next target, which is up here at 54.55 to 55.08, what I will do is I will look for candles on this move up here to the 3rd target, and I will drag my alert. Let's say it's right here, all right, hypothetically. I will drag my alert up to that new swing low just below it and wait for the alert. So now I am my as I'm dragging my stop alert up, I'm locking in more profits. Where it was down here at 51.61, it then moved up to 53, and hypothetically, now it's at 54. All right? So that's how I do it. I use alerts for the trail stop. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. I really hope you found value in this video. If you could do me a favor, take a second, hit the like button, make sure you're subscribed to Simpler Trading YouTube channel. Such great content comes out that is here to educate traders, helping us all to become more consistent and disciplined and profitable. And if you're not a member of Simpler, be sure check out the link in the description. We have many, many rooms available that you can join. I hope you would come and hang out with me and my trading partner, Trendy John, in the Trendy room or SPX room if you like to trade SPX. We have all kinds of special deals running, trials, all of that. It's not just about, trade alerts, although there's great trade alerts in the rooms. It's really about trading with a community because trading can be very lonely. But if you find a group of like-minded people that are there to support you and to help you along the way, it'll make your trading career so much more enjoyable. So make sure you are a member at Simpler. Check us out, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. I hope you have a great day.